Okay, here we are. Welcome to the 1988 Humber Bridge Marathon. We're 10 minutes to go before the start. The runners are gathering underneath the bridge, the roller skaters ahead of them. The conditions are quite good today. It's not too hot, cooling breeze. Doesn't look like we've got any chance of rain during the race. And should be a good run. A reasonable field assembled according to the programme. So quite half a dozen to 20 runners with sub 2:20 times entered. So we should be in for a good race. It looks like the roller skaters are just about to start off. So we'll stand back and let them by. Okay. One, go. Slow down then. Right, here we are, 1 minute into the 1988 Humber Bridge Marathon. Already we have a runner breaking away from a second pack. Seems to be quite a steady pace at the moment. Nothing too suicidal on a day which could prove to be quite hot, despite the breeze. Okay. Right, the chasing pack have caught up the early leader now. Looks like he's realised he was going off at a bit too fast a pace. But, Steve Brace isn't showing yet. He's just behind the leaders with Jim Dingwall. They must be two of the favourites for this race, both with excellent marathon pedigrees down in the 2:11, 2:12 region. The lead runner's passing one of the back markers of the wheelchair race. And still a nice large group at the front. Obviously nobody wants to take it out this early.
So there's an incline here, it's hard work.
Huh? We're just about to start climb up Boothferry Road towards the bridge. Be interesting to see if anybody tries to test the other competitors out here, just to see how willing they are to make a race of it. And just as I say that, a small group of 5 athletes has just made a break of it.
Rob, go on, Mike.
Okay. We're just letting the leading group catch us up here. You can see it's Ian Cohen from St Helens, very prolific marathon runner. Jim Dingwall from Hull. Chris Parks from Rotherham.
Let's go forward a bit, Colin.
And Ron Smith from running for World Runners. Ron used to run for Airedale, but he seems to be running in the colours of Keighley AC now. Obviously following Jimmy Ashworth changing clubs to Keighley, but running under the World Runners banner. Chris Parks from Rotherham has only been running a couple of years, but has already produced some very good results indeed. Over all distances from 10 miles up to the full marathon. Come on. It looks like Ian Corrins has decided to force the pace up this hill. But having said that, it looks that Steve Brace is making an attempt to get back to that leading group. In fact, the whole of the top 10 are all very good class marathon runners. Likes of Mike Hurd, super veteran from Bridlington, who spends most of his time in the States picking up money in the road races over there. But nonetheless, he comes back over here now and then. And obviously, a local race like this with big prize money will attract him, being a full-time runner. Right, we're just about to get onto the Humber Bridge. Steve Brace and Gary Spring from Luton have made the break across that gap to catch the leading group, and they've been joined by another runner. Could be Nicky Lees from Wolverhampton and Bilston. Yes, it is. Yeah, Nicky Lees, Wolverhampton and Bilston. The whole of this leading group, all very good runners. Back in 8th place, Trevor Hawes, one of the most prolific top-class marathon runners in the country. And back in 9th, Mike Hurd, the veteran from Bridlington. Just going past the toll booth there, onto the bridge. Obviously one of the main features of this marathon, longest single-span suspension bridge in the world. The lead runner's just been directed onto the footpath. Nice group there. Ron Smith taking the pace, Bridlington. Trevor Hawes, number 5, chasing them. Then Mike Hurd, looking quite smooth. A long gap now, until a lone runner. Who is number 18, B. Watson, South Kent Harriers. 64. M. Holton, Reading's Youth Club, Scunthorpe. And the whole group coming through now. Still looking quite relaxed in these early stages of the race. Runner there from Valley Striders. Number 14, Trevor Bean, Valley Striders. Had some quite good results in local road races. Maybe biding his time to pull through later. "19, Barker from Grimsby. One of the better runners on the Humberside athletics scene. A couple of runners there from Leeds City. First woman, Veronique Marrow from Leeds City. Obviously, having turned down selection for the Olympic Games, decided to run this run. Very lucrative race. Should set her up well. Again, a full-time athlete. And second woman there, Jay Cowper. No, that'll be... There's a large body of runners following up now. A few Clayton Limos vests in this race, travelling all the way over from Lancashire, one of a very large club with a tradition in long-distance road and fell events. Quite a few Leeds City athletes as well, obviously spurring each other on. take part in a race like this? No, she turned down.
See those bloody lads go. That's the shame. Phil Jury, give Phil Jury a mention. Guy is 762.
Springhead. Okay. Ron Smith and Trevor Hawes taking the pace on as they come off the bridge. Ron Smith's looking to be working quite hard. Trevor Hawes not too bad though. He's got a very awkward running style. One of his main features, if you like. But it doesn't seem to hinder him too much. Yeah, here we are. Fine shot of the Humber Bridge, a mile across itself. One of the wheelchair competitors just starting this quite tough climb up towards Barton. We're just a bit short of the 5 mile mark here. Been going just over 24 minutes. Still waiting for the first runners to just come around the corner into view. When we get to the 5 miles, it'll be interesting to see what pace they've been setting and what time they might be on for. Right, here we are just at the 5 mile point. I see the leading group just approaching us. And they're on just over 26 minutes. (26:10), 26:15. That's on 2:17 pace, which is what might be expected for this course. But they've had some tough climbs the first 5 miles. Might speed up for the next few as it levels out. There's Jim Dingwall, Hull AC. It's been dropped off the back of this leading group coming up the hill here. Obviously there's plenty of time yet. Might not be worried too much. First drink station here. Some of the runners taking on refreshment. It is turning out to be quite warm, and Jim takes his drink there over his head, bit in the mouth, and away. Obviously well used to that procedure, having done as many marathons as he had at top level. Okay, going through Barton on Humber now, and a pack of 5 has broken away. From left to right, we've got Steve Brace, Bridgend, Wales, Chris Parks from Rotherham, Nicky Lees from Derby, but now running for Wolves and Bilston. He had a split with the Derby club a year or so back. Ian Corrin from St Helens. He used to run for Liverpool, again changed club recently. And just hidden behind Ian Corrin in the yellow vest, Gary Spring from Luton. Gary Spring, I think, is new to marathon running. He's got quite good reputation over the shorter distances, but as far as I know, this is one of his first serious marathons. Obviously, again, attracted by the £1,250 on offer for the winner, £500 extra for a course record. But, all that leading group looking quite comfortable. Back in 6th, Ron Smith from Airedale, veteran, looking to be working hard, though obviously that's part of his style. Just followed by Trevor Hawes, who's gradually moved up on the early leading group, working his way through. Mike Hurd from Bridlington, behind him in 8th place, and back in 9th, Jim Dingwall, City of Hull. Okay, we're at about 7.5 miles here. The lead car's just coming through. 38.5 minutes have been out. Still seems to be keeping up that 2:17 pace. And here come the leading group. Hasn't changed much since Barton. So Ian Corrin's taking the pace along. So the runner's got a fair sweat up there. Got a following wind here, which will help them by not blowing against, but they might lose some of the cooling benefit running with it. Trevor Hawes there, number 5, followed by Ron Smith. Jim Dingwall catching up Mike Hurd here. Should be an advantage running together on a long stretch like this. Can be quite difficult running on your own when you've been dropped off the pack, but those two running together might even help each other get back onto those leaders. Right, yeah, we have Barry Watson. big marathon name from the past. Actually going for the Veterans Prize at this race, but with runner of the class of Mike Hurd, shouldn't be easy. And we have runners following up. Trevor Bean from Valley Striders, a club mate. Right, a spread of clubs. Ridding, St Helens, Bury, Clayton Moors. All good club runners there. John Barker from Grimsby, a local athlete heading home. It's in the late teens. And here we have Phil Dewberry from Hull Springhead. Gritting his teeth there.
Feeling good.
I'm feeling good, so he says. And the wheelchair competitors in the downhill. Pack of athletes here. Skyrack from Leeds. Horwich. Couple having a conversation here. Lancaster and Morecambe. P. Russell from South Kent. Runner there from Manchester YMCA, followed by City of Hull athlete, sporting his Union Jack shorts. And here's Veronique Marot, Leeds City, leading woman. Looking quite comfortable, a very experienced marathon runner. A group of three behind her, no doubt keen to keep on her tail. Athletes coming through steadily now. There's another Leeds City athlete. Another Grimsby athlete here. Clayton Moors. Second woman, Jay Cowper from Harrogate. Running quite comfortably. There's another Leeds City athlete here, sporting a cap. Keep the sun off the head. All sorts of shapes and sizes of athletes coming through here. Runner from Keighley, teammate of Ron Smith. Athlete from White City Hall here, New Age Running Club. It was a smile. And a couple from City of Hull. It is Shane Page from the City of Hull. Headband pulled close down over his eyes.
Go on, Shane, go on, Jack.
Gives us a wink there. a reasonable sized group, just gone through the sponging station. Runner from East Hill, runner from Riddings, Scunthorpe. One from down from Sunderland, and an athlete from Grimsby. Very much a race for local club athletes, this one. Athlete there sporting sprinting shorts, so keep their thighs warm. Another wheelchair athlete taking advantage of this downhill stretch. Valley Striders, Cleethorpes, Grimsby. Most runners still looking reasonably comfortable. Obviously not yet at the 10-mile point, so at this stage of the game they should be. Still have quite a few reserves left. Don't want to commit themselves too early in a 26-mile race. Third women athlete here from Bridlington. Quite good. And the guy there sporting triathlon kit. A couple of athletes there, Healing Village. T. McBurney of Warwick going through there. D. Davidson, 100 from Manchester. (145). M. Burton, Pocklington Runners, near York. Another reasonably local athlete. 161, C. Wright from Louth, Lincolnshire. (105), T. Murphy, another Pocklington runner. 53 just went through the fourth woman. Fourth woman is C. Boyd from Rotherham. 3 Cleethorpes Harriers there. Large Cleethorpes contingent in this race today. Which is their main local marathon of the year. This group here being led by K. Marshall from Derby, with the 100K Association. And the runner there, running to music. Obviously, does him a power of good.
Go on, Glenn.
Of City Hall athlete. Taking his time, looking comfortable. woman from Hull Spring Head. Works at Hull University. Often see her training around the sports fields at lunchtime. I know one looking quite comfortable there. Actually pacing it well. Now this following wind is gusting quite strong at times. I think the runners will appreciate that. It'll help cool them out. And it should be with them for the rest of the race, which can only be a good thing, especially for the leading runners who are going for a fast time. That £500 course record bonus might be up for grabs today with these conditions. Sun's beating down quite strongly now, but the temperature is being kept down by the wind. Athlete there from Muswell Hill. Travelled all the way up from London for this. Group there getting well sponged down. When they're there in white, obviously taking consideration of the sunny conditions. And one completely in black as a contrast. Hull Spring Head, fine club. Runner there obviously enjoying himself, but it's still got 19 miles to go, so see how he's feeling at the end. Streaming through now. Steady line of runners, 2 or 3 deep on the roadside. Running off into the distance. Another woman there from Bridlington, AC. And a woman from East Hull. Steve Carter from White City Road Runners. Right, we're back on the move again. Gradually overtaking the long line of runners. So this, when the race is strung out like this, you find that if you have a good or bad patch, you can gain or lose a lot of places in a very short time. And consistently runners passing along the road. Not many gaps at this point in the field. So the leading group now should be well ahead. Looks to be running well. .46, but as I say, with this following wind all the way to Grimsby and not too high temperatures, we could be looking for a good time. Some good runners up there in the leading group, and they should work well together. If any of the leading group do fade, there's always others in the top 10 who could come through to take advantage, like Jim Dingwall, Mike Hurd, Canny. Lots of experience, they know how to pace themselves. On a quite an undulating section of the course here. Gradual uphills, gradual downhills. It's quite good for the runners. Gives them a break change of pace, not too bad. On a long, flat straight can get quite demoralising, but a bit of undulation breaks up the rhythm a bit, gives you something to think about. The long line of runners going back there into the distance, quite an impressive sight. Field of about 800 this year. Some people seem to be disappointed in the decline in numbers over recent years in the marathon, but 800 runners is still a very large field, something that the organisers shouldn't be disappointed about. And the prize money has to show, with perhaps the exception of London. Climbs, undulations. Just getting caught up in the traffic. Quite close to the runners. We have 182 T-Ho Fender Flyers, a local athlete. 288 D Willis from Cottingham, another local athlete, unattached. I find that a lot of runners nowadays are joining clubs after the initial marathon boom. Realise that club running, companionship, drink after the training run, it makes it running a bit more interesting than pounding the streets on your own. Through the field still at fair race, catching the leaders up, just passing Pete Kirk from City Hull, with the headband keeping the sweat out of his eyes. About back into the countryside now, it's flattening out. Just the fields and the petrochemical works. The wind's coming across us now, which the runners will certainly appreciate, cooling them well, but not blowing against them, which on a long race like this can be a bit demoralising. Past the 10-mile marker, runners around this part of the field going through in around 65, 66 minutes, which is on for a sub 3 hour time, as long as they don't slow down too much for the next 16 miles. Still quite a few runners up in this part of the field. Reasonable depth here, obviously. We're going to get quite a few under the 3 hour mark, which is what a lot of them will be aiming for. Shane Page there, City of Hull.
Jack Hill, Within Sea, Dave Cunningham, Holton Price. Local lads.
Yeah. The local trio there. Within Sea, City of Hull. Holton Price Roadrunners. Rotherham, Riddings Youth Club. One of the local villages, and the drink station. Runner from White City Roadrunners Hull taking on refreshment there. A wise move, and no matter what the conditions, still produce a fair amount of sweat no matter how cold it is. Points, 2 hours 11:40. That halfway point looming, so a psychological bonus for the runners once they got through the halfway. Also give them a better idea what kind of time they're on for. allow themselves slight loss of pace in the second half, and they should be able to work out what time they're on for. Though some of them might have paced it so they actually run the second half faster, psychologically better. Right, we're back up with the leading group now, split up quite drastically. About half a mile back we passed Ron Smith, a veteran from World Runners. It was leading last time we saw the leaders, but it's dropped off quite badly. We're just passing the 15-mile mark in 2 hours 20. The 3 runners we've got in view here, we've got Mike Hurd in the rear, Trevor Hawes second, and Jim Dingwall from Hull starting to pull through. Nick Lees there, Wolverhampton and Bilston, same club as course record holder Kevin Capper. He's beginning to look a bit tired. Chris Parks there from Rotherham, running gloves. Quite unusual, a trait maybe copied from Ingrid Christiansen. Maybe to wipe the sweat from his forehead. I don't know. And we're just pulling up now on the leading group of runners. 3 together, who'll come into sight shortly. As you can see, they've broken well away from the rest of the top 10. And they're working together to increase that lead even more. Just about to overtake them now as we come into Lincolnshire. Got Steve Brace on the left, Gary Spring from Luton in the middle, Ian Cohen from Liverpool running for St Helens on the right. All of them looking quite comfortable, which contrasts with some of the runners they've left in the wake. Obviously feeling the hot pace. Still on for sub 2:20 clocking, it looks like. So about 15.5 miles now. Just over 1 hour 20. So that course record might still be open for the breaking if those 3 can work together well. Though they're just on pace for that record at the moment. We are at the about 16.5 miles, leading group of 3. Still looking quite comfortable, sharing the pace. Steve Brace taking it on now. Still a following wind. About 150 metres down in 4th place, Chris Parks from Rotherham. 5th place, Jim Dingwall from City of Hull. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, right. There we have the lone Ron Smith from the West Yorkshire area. He's dropped off the leading group quite badly. It's looking to be working hard, though is well clear of the next runner, who seems to be 200, 300 metres. That next runner is Barry Watson. As I say, one of the big marathon stars of the early to mid-70s. Yeah, Barry Watson approaching us now. Bouncing style. Still looking quite relaxed. Wonder if he can make up the gap on Ron Smith. Leapfrog in the veteran standings at the moment. Currently lying 3rd. Ron Smith 2nd, Mike Hurd from Bridlington 1st, veteran. Interesting to note that there are 3 veterans in the top 10 in the race. Marathon running a sport that don't necessarily need youth on your side. Experience counts a lot in this kind of event. You have Trevor Bean from Valley Striders running along quite comfortably. Behind him, Harry Clegg in the red shorts, another veteran. Winner of the Merseyside Marathon, I believe, a couple of times. I think got 2 hours 15 to his credit. Alongside him, High Higginbottom from Leicester. Another Valley Striders runner here, number 32. Dave Feliciello. And number 13, Colin Kirk from Coventry Godiva. A counterpart of Barry Watson over the marathon distance in those early 70s. 2 top class performers. P. Bates there from Bury, AC. Number 16, P. Hall from Grantham. Still running quite strongly, local athlete from Lincolnshire. There's Thurkle, number 28 there from Valley Striders. Obviously Valley Striders going well for the team trophy at this race. Number 753, E. Seedhouse, City of Hull. And in the blue and white hoops from Grimsby, John Barker. Tap. Right, I've had a long gap now. Still in the top 20. Phil Dewberry from Hull Springhead. Looking quite good. Giving a confident nod as he passed. Leeds runner from Skyrack, North Leeds. And they're from Horwich in Lancashire. A couple pacing each other here. That Chariots of Fire thing was sort of written by somebody not to sound like it. Ah.
It's what we call a pastiche.
Yeah.
It's not actually Chariots of Fire.
Number 57 here. There's PJ Russell from South Kent there. Not looking too distressed at all at this 16.5 mile point. And here's approaching, I think, is Veronique Marrow, first woman. Or maybe not. No, it isn't. It's Veronique Marrow doesn't wear glasses. No, it's a Cleethorpes athlete instead. Easy to confuse with the Leeds City vest. And as we speak, Veronique Marrow is approaching. Leading athlete with a group of 3 men around her who were behind her at the 11 mile point, obviously caught her up, trying to use her pacing experience. 44, R. Bowling from South Kent. Breathing hard.
He's taken my scalp a few times, is Alan.
A runner here, looking to be suffering quite a bit. shuffling along. Rod Train, he's still just gone past. From Manchester YMCA. City of Hull athlete there as well. Lawrence from Gloucester, just gone through. And a couple of City of Hull athletes here. .38 there, S. Mottershead from Wells. Clayton Moors Harriers, runner approaching, number 43. T. Bamford from Clayton Moors. N. Prentice, number 69. N. Beryl from Wellingborough, number 45. With M. Fleming from Grimsby Harriers, just gone through. Leeds City athlete in the cap, approaching. The wind is now quite strong. Again, still following the runners. Can only be a good thing. Conditions turning out quite good. Still think that record time could be on with a £500 bonus. One of the wheelchair competitors here. Second lady, just with this group of 3 men, Jay Cowper from Harrogate. Maybe a minute or two down on Veronique Marrow. .94 here, S. McLeod, City of Hull. Number 148 there, just to be going backwards a bit. .47, D. Bamforth, Hulme Valley Squash, the West Yorkshire area, just passed through. And runner from Keighley here, in the sunglasses. Sun's hidden behind the clouds at the moment, coupled with the quite strong wind behind. The runners must be quite glad about this turn of conditions. M. Shrimpton and Nat Martinson there from Reading's just gone through. Give us a shout. John Weston there, number 79, from the Eureka Club. Still got time for a smile, so he can't be feeling too bad. White City runner here, with 2 sponges. A runner walking here, could have a pulled muscle, or maybe cramp. Starting off again, yeah, probably cramp. There's a group here. It's Shane Page from City of Hull in the middle. Not looking too bad. Off 35 miles a week training. Runners are quite well spread out now at this 16-mile point. Still 10 to go on the way home, but still maybe an hour's running to go. Hour and 10, hour and 20, a long way.
The runners have got about the lead for about half an hour, haven't they? So
Starting to pull back towards the head of the field again. From 16 miles. About 25 minutes, half an hour before the leader will be crossing the line in Grimsby. These boys here, maybe another half an hour extra on top of that. Still be on for a sub 3 hour time, the runners around here though. Just approaching a road junction with a small crowd to support them, which I'm sure they'll be glad of at this stage of the race. Road sign there saying Grimsby 11. Just after a short climb through the trees in the shade, just approaching a water station. And first aid, runner there still walking a bit. Obviously, begin to hit the wall. Infamous marathon wall. No, it's better that he walks now and gets some breath back rather than tries to keep running and suffers much more towards the end. Small concentration of runners around here. Three local athletes there from Withensea, Halton Price, City of Hull. A wide variety of clubs in the Humberside area. And here's John from the Eureka Club, giving us another smile. Runners here individually strung out. Makes it a bit harder when you're on your own, isolated from those in front and those behind.
It's coming up now, Colin.
Okay. Right. There's a second place woman, Jay Cowper from Harrogate. Running with Dee Morris from Lancaster. They've been together for the past few miles. Best of 2:54 as the woman from Harrogate. Could be on to equal that today, maybe even beat it. City Harriers up from Glastonbury, a long way. Best of 2:39, he might be struggling to beat that today. Followed by 8:36 from Leeds City, who isn't in the programme. Some runners here together, starting to show a bit of stress with 8 or 9 miles to go. Passing in Shanley from Manchester YMCA. It's got a best of 2:34. Just going to Keelby. Crowds coming out to support the runners. Just passing Howard Beasley from City of Hull there. The Union Jack shorts, quite distinctive. Just passed through another sponging station. Sun's come out again, obviously. Changeable conditions today with a strong wind, the clouds blowing over. Sometimes sunny, sometimes in shade. .44 there, runner from South Kent, R Bowling. Best of 2:40. However, the leading woman now. She's made a decisive break away from the group of men who was running with back at 16.5 miles. Obviously, her experience in marathons telling against the men who may have been running it just a bit faster than they should have done. Right, next. Well spread out. Just about to pass Phil Dewberry from Hull Springhead, who's still running quite smoothly. Just approaching the 20-mile point in a shade under 2 hours, 1 hour 57.
I know this well.
We are back up towards the leaders now, probably just in the top 10, and Ron Smith's been overtaken by Barry Watson, who now moves up into second veteran spot, just coming up to the 22-mile point. 2 hours 2 minutes 10, 4 miles to go, should break the 2.5 hour barrier quite comfortably. Barry Watson still looking good, though a long way from the next runner. Number 11, Gary Spring, who was leading at the 16-mile point, now at 22. He's blown up quite badly and he's dropped half a dozen positions, maybe more. He's obviously going for glory, but found he couldn't stick with the pace of Steve Brace and Ian Corrin.
Hey, what a lack of this Robin is, Colin. David Cohen, what's that?
There from Rotherham. Just running through the water there, 23 miles, straight in on his face, and he's dropping down now behind Trevor Hawes, who we're just passing. Trevor was using that corner to have a quick look where Chris Parks was, and just passing Jim Dingwall here, who's obviously paced it very well indeed. He's pulled through. Probably in the top 4 now. Not looking too bad. Running with a sponge in his hand. Probably past the last drink station now, so it's having to make that sponge last all the way to the finish. And there's Mike Hurd from Bridlington ahead of him. Another experienced athlete, and like Jim, he's paced it quite well. They've pulled through from the rear of that top 10 group to probably 3rd or 4th at this stage. Ian Corrin and Steve Brace seem to be well ahead. Right, and here we are back with the leading 2. Ian Corrin about 30 metres down, 40 metres on Steve Brace. Less than 2 miles to go, and I think this record should definitely go. Should on for a time in the mid-teens, 2:15 maybe. Seems to actually up the pace from the start of the race. 2 classy athletes here. Right, here we are at the finish line. 2 hours 17:50 ticking away. 2 minutes to the course record. And here's the lead car, so it looks like Steve Brace is on to break the record and get the £500 bonus on top of the £1250 for first prize. It's been a hard tussle with Ian Corrin. And he's just come around the corner. Steve Brace should comfortably break the course record here.
Watch your head. Come on.
Yeah, it's okay.
Just mind your head. Just mind your back. So you can get a photograph, please.
Here comes Steve Brace to break the tape. 2 hours 18, 47, 48, 49, 2:18:50. A minute inside the course record, closely followed by Ian Cohen. 2:19 just underneath. An excellent race. A shame for Ian that he broke the course record, but failed to get that £500 bonus. Very hard race.
He's Welsh.
Neither of the runners looking too distressed. Obviously, marathoners of their experience know how to handle themselves. Ian Cohen obviously just didn't have that extra necessary to make up that 10-20 yard gap towards the end. And here's the third place man, Mike Hurd from Bridlington, veteran, picking up the third place prize and the veterans prize.
Or one, I only get one.
Does he? Oh, apparently it's one person, one prize, which makes the prizes go further down the field. Giving us a wave. And Mike comes home in 2 hours 21 and 8 seconds. Again, not looking too distressed. Just coming up the finish straight here, Jim Dingwall, City of Hull.
Jim's done well, hasn't he?
Jim just going to break 2 hours 22 minutes. Quite a good performance. I think it's faster than he did in London this year. Ooh. It was hard work. Very stiff-legged at the end. Looking very tired. Fifth place coming. Are we still on anyway? And in fifth place, Trevor Hawes from Leicester, runs for Swansea. Very prolific marathon runner. Nearly always around the low 220s, high teens. Best of about 2 hours 17 in London a few years ago. Trevor Hawes finishing in fifth place, looking tired. In sixth place, just coming up the finishing straight, Chris Parks from Rotherham. Chris might be a bit disappointed with this time. He did 2:17, 2:18 in London this year, 2:23 here, might be a bit disappointed, 5 minutes down. But still, as good a top-class field as he'll get in one of the provincial marathons.
Don't look distressed, do they?
Yellow,
don't know what he's pointing at there. I mean, I don't know whether those blokes are just getting in the way. I can't.
I think they are.
If you look through there, you can't see anything.
That is the thing. Ask him to. Oh, you can. Are they in the way?
Not that bad, actually.
Hmm?
Not that bad. He seems to be just getting through the gap. Very dark, isn't it?
Yeah. Here comes Barry Watson in 6th place, second veteran. Still looking very strong.
Are they in the way?
Yep.
Why don't you set up there?
Still in the way of these guys. Shall we ask him to move in? Hmm?
Go on then.
Ladies and gentlemen, the crowd here at Grimsby are welcome please to the winner of the 8th Humber Bridge Marathon.
Here comes Gary Spring from Luton, one of the early leaders. Obviously hit the wall in the low 20 miles and crosses now in 2:27.48. Just followed by number 23, Higginbottom from Leicester, unattached. And Ron Smith, another of the early leaders, the veteran from Clegg, another one who's suffered a lot over the second half of the race. 2 hours 28 for Ron. Eric Seedhouse, City of Hull, gritting his teeth. Obviously a personal best for him. Where's Colin on then? And here Trevor Bean from Valley Striders should just break the 2.5 hour barrier. Got a best of 2:22.50, a bit outside that, but sub 2:30 clocking is still a good performance. Coming through in 2 hours 29 and 40 seconds. Number 16 here, P. Hall from Grantham, just outside 2 hours 30, finishing quite strongly.
Very well done. Well done.
Just for your information, ladies and gentlemen, the presentation, the prizes will be made to Steve at 2 o'clock here on this day, and then also the prize for the first lady across the line, and also the wheelchair winner will be here as well at around 2:30. So that's 2 o'clock for the winner, and then 2:30 presentation for the wheelchair.
Of 2 runners in the home straight. Well, nearly stumbling there as he crosses the gravel track. Number 28, S. Thurkel from Valley Striders near Leeds, Ilkley-based club. Then behind him, Pete Bates from Bury AC.
Hello, Robert.
Both looking very tired. And here we have Rob Robinson, Club Secretary, City of Hull AC. He's been commentating for Radio Humberside today.
What do you think of it then? Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, it's been good fun. Easier than running.
Yeah.
Tired. Couple more runners, including Veronique Marot, the first woman, striding out strongly. 2 hours 37, 51, 52, just over 2 hours 38. Still a respectable time there, obviously. Excuse me, St John's bloke. Yeah, Veronique just catching John Hartley from Clayton Limos. First woman, Veronique Marot, 2 hours 38, 24. Probably not much more than a hard training run for Veronique. Be aiming for 2:25
Well done, Veronique.
to 2:30 in Chicago or New York this autumn.